we're heading north to explore a side of Albania that's wild, rugged, and a little off the beaten path. Whether we're visiting ancient castles or cruising along the lake, this is the type of adventure that's gonna surprise you at every turn. Let's get tipsy, y'all. In our previous video, we spent an incredible weekend in Tirana before heading north. We left Tirana behind, driving north to Koman, the gateway to Komani Lake in one of Albania's most breathtaking boat journeys. The road to Koman is a windy road that goes from pavement to not pavement, single lane to double lane. So we stopped at Letty's place to get lunch because it took us a lot longer than expected to get down that road. The small roadside eatery felt like a hidden treehouse, offering breathtaking views of the Drin Reservoir and a welcomed break from the road. Little did we know, it was about to get worse. We made it to the villa. It took us over 2 hours to go about 30 miles. So pretty bad. If you want to make it out here, get extra insurance for your rental car, or I would maybe pay someone. Y'all, I have driven on crazy roads when we were in the RV. We drove to Alaska and those roads are no joke. This puts them all to shame. I just know that it's going to take a lot longer than Google said, especially if you're not trying to tear up your rental car. This is beautiful and I cannot wait to see what we get into tomorrow for the boat ride. Koman is a very small town with only a handful of options for dinner. We ended up at the I Love Koman camping restaurant, drawn in by their floating dock right on the water. I ordered the chicken platter before realizing they also serve fresh fish that they will catch and prepare for you on site. Since we had an early start the next morning for our boat tour, we kept it simple, grabbed an early bite, and called it a night. Good morning from Koman Tunnel. We are currently walking about 500 meters through a tunnel to get to the port. To say that this experience has been a cluster is an understatement of what this experience has been so far. I had read a blog online that said this might be one of the most difficult things that you get to do in Albania, but it's worth it. And I think that is underselling the experience of just how challenging it is to do this.
So let me quickly explain why this was so difficult. To reach the port, you drive the rest of the mountain road that ends at that tunnel. It's the only way in, and unless your car is going to be boarding a ferry, you're going to have to park outside the tunnel and then walk through it on foot. That's where the parking challenge begins. So this is a very tiny lot just before the tunnel, and it often has a group of locals that demand payment to park there, even though it's free. And we were warned that if you ignore them and park anyway, you could come back to slash tires. There are alternative lots further down, but they do add about a 10 or 15 minute walk back up the mountain to get to the tunnel. It's not the easiest start, but it is definitely manageable. There are numerous tour options that provide transportation that would have made it significantly easier, but for independent travelers like us, this was the situation. Once you emerge on the other side of the tunnel, the scene shifts completely. The port bursts to life, the boats are lined up along the dock, there's travelers milling about. We found our boat captain, boarded, and set off on our adventure for the day.
We ended up renting a private boat for around 200 euros. I had done a lot of research on the different types of tours that are much, much cheaper to get here. We just didn't want to worry about a seat for my mom and standing, so we decided to just do a private tour, and that way we could be really flexible. Komani Lake is often called the Norwegian fjords of the Balkans, and the journey across it felt like sailing through another world. Surrounded by steep green mountains and winding passages, the emerald water looks like it doesn't belong to Europe at all. As you glide deeper through the lake, the landscape shifts, and tucked away in one of its hidden corners is Lumi Shala. Nicknamed the Thailand of Albania, the water is impossibly clear and bright blue, perfect for swimming, kayaking, or just soaking up the scenery. Small restaurants line the riverbanks, making it the perfect place to spend the day. We went about an hour on a boat to get to the creek area, and you can see there are beach chairs and there's different restaurants and there's bars, and this is absolutely perfect. We're gonna be here for about 3.5, 4 hours. It was a very chilly boat ride to get here, but now that it's here and we're stationary and the sun's coming up, it is rather warm, which is delightful. So my parents and I, we've gotten some chairs and umbrellas. We're gonna hang out here. So this is gonna be a beautifully relaxing day. For lunch, we went to one of the nearby restaurants and got kebabs, and I have no idea what the meat was, but it was delicious. This place is wild, guys. Like, we've been to a lot of places, including Thailand. This place is pretty special. So there's this lookout point that looked really high up. Climbing it now, I'm almost at the top. I think it just looks worse than it is. Probably about 300 stairs. Let's see what happens at the top. My dad's so supportive. He's down there filming me climb the whole set of stairs. So, kind of overview on this place. Heading back to the boat now, where our boat drivers can pick us up. This is not easy to get to. The road you go down is literally miserable. Like, I'm dreading going back tomorrow. The boat ride out here is an hour, but this might be one of the coolest, most unique places I've ever been. I'm so sad Chris can't be with me. He had to work. But this is absolutely unbelievable. And my parents are doing great, and I will just say this. If you're coming to Albania and you can be flexible with your time, absolutely worth the effort to get out here. Now, we are heading to Shkoder tomorrow, and then potentially other places past that, but I will say this is incredible.
Komani Lake was absolutely amazing. And from here, we have to drive to get to Shkoder. Unfortunately for us, the weather has turned and it is thundering and lightning, and we have to drive that horrendous road back to get there.
The worst of the storm passed, and we were able to make it back in fairly decent time to get to Shkoder. It turned out to be an absolutely beautiful day, so we drove up to Rozafa Castle to take in some views and learn about its history. This castle was absolutely stunning, and the history and legends were even more intriguing. Overlooking Shkoder is the massive castle, a structure steeped in legend. Built on a hill with views of 3 rivers converging below, the castle dates back to the Illyrian times, but has been expanded and fortified by Venetians, Ottomans, and others over the centuries. The legend goes that a woman named Rozafa was buried in the walls to keep the castle standing. The story gives the place a haunting vibe. To enter the castle, it is 400 lek per person. And as you can see, this place is astounding. It is beautiful. It spreads out across the hilltop. There is absolutely no shade up here, so I highly recommend getting in early. But with these views, I mean, man, can you really beat it? A quick 10-minute drive from the castle is this little town called Shiroka, and it is actually on the way to Montenegro. Some of the mountains that we're seeing here are actually in Montenegro. We've just stopped in here to see what it looked like because Shkoder Lake is absolutely beautiful, and half of the lake is actually for Montenegro, so it's very neat. Where we are, there's a beautifully paved boardwalk, and we're gonna grab a quick bite to eat. They all seem to be fish-based restaurants on the water here. My dad and I were talking about what we're gonna get, and we're really excited because we're hungry. Lunch was so great. This little town is so charming. Now we're here in mid-September, so it's fairly calm. We're also here during a weekday. Not many people are out, and the view is absolutely gorgeous. I got grilled cod, and it was totally not what I was expecting. It was all the little fish, the bones, the head, the tail, everything. My dad got the carp. I've never tasted carp like that. It was so good. So if you're coming, highly, highly recommend to stop there and definitely get the carp if you're here. A little outside Shkoder is Mesi Bridge, an Ottoman-era stone bridge that's been standing strong since the 18th century. It's simple, elegant, and built entirely from stone without mortar, which is part of the reason why it has survived for centuries. The countryside here is absolutely serene with rolling hills, and it's much quieter outside the city. Now, the riverbed right now is very dry, but the Drin River is what typically would be flowing through this. It's one of those spots that makes you want to slow down, take a breath, and really appreciate Albania's mix of history and natural beauty.
Shkoder has really surprised me. You know, I think all of Albania has actually surprised me. I don't know what I expected, but we're on the pedestrian street here and it is just absolutely charming. Everyone's out, there's street vendors, there's performers, there's lots of music. We're on our way to dinner. We just had the best cocktails at Vibe Cafe. I had read some of their reviews. They have like 200 almost 5-star reviews on Google and it was fantastic. The street is so lively and full of activity. It was really great here. This city has really surprised us and we really like it.
For dinner, we stopped at Idromeno restaurant, and I will say this was probably one of the best meals we had in Albania. From the local red wine, to the carpaccio, the baked brie cheese, and our mains were absolutely phenomenal. This was the perfect way to end our time in Shkoder because we are going to head out first thing in the morning to head south towards the Riviera. Northern Albania is a completely different world. This region shows a side of Albania that's raw, beautiful, and full of history. This adventure, though, isn't over yet. From here, we are heading down to the Albanian Riviera to explore some of the beaches. And if you're looking for more Albania content, we have a few videos. Thanks for watching, y'all. Stay thirsty for adventure. Cheers!